First contact. The cerulean skies of Novus Primes stretched endlessly above Captain Sarah Chen as she led her team across the alien world's rust-colored plains. Twin suns beat down mercilessly, their heat barely mitigated by the cooling systems in their exosuits. It had been 3 months since the United Earth Exploration Corps ship Horizon made landfall on this uncharted planet, and each day brought new wonders and challenges. Movement at 2 o'clock, Lieutenant Mike Reeves reported, his voice tense through the comm link. Definitely not indigenous fauna this time, Captain. Sarah raised her hand, signaling the team to halt. Through her helmet's heads-up display, she zoomed in on the indicated location. Her breath caught as she saw them, humanoid figures moving with purpose across the landscape. Their builds were lean and muscular, skin a pale lavender hue that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Most striking were their eyes, large, almond-shaped, and gleaming with an intelligence that sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. First contact, she whispered, her heart racing. Years of training kicked in as she opened a channel to the horizon. Base, this is Chen. We have visual confirmation of sentient alien life. Repeat, we have first contact scenario. Awaiting instructions. The response was immediate. Proceed with caution, Captain. Commander Yuki Tanaka's steady voice came through. Attempt peaceful communication, but be prepared for any outcome. The fate of humanity's first interstellar meeting is in your hands. Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for what came next. Understood, Commander. Chen out. She turned to her team, seeing a mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces. All right, people, this is what we've trained for. Standard first contact protocols. Weapons powered down but ready. Let's make history. As they approached the alien group, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being assessed just as keenly. The aliens moved with a fluid grace that spoke of highly evolved physiology. When the two groups were about 50 meters apart, Sarah raised her hands in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. We come in peace, she said, her words automatically translated and broadcast through her suit's external speakers in a range of frequencies. We are explorers from a distant world, seeking knowledge and friendship. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, one of the aliens stepped forward. Sarah realized, was taller than the others, with intricate markings swirling across her skin. When she spoke, it was in a melodic language unlike anything Sarah had ever heard. Her suit's AI worked furiously to decipher the alien tongue. Suddenly, Sarah's HUD flashed a warning. Energy signatures were spiking all around them. The alien leader's posture had shifted, becoming more aggressive. Something had gone terribly wrong. Defensive positions. Sarah shouted, just as the first energy blast seared the air where she had been standing moments before. The peaceful first contact had devolved into chaos in seconds. Lieutenant Reeves returned fire, his plasma rifle leaving scorch marks on the alien's advanced armor. Captain, we're outgunned and outnumbered, he yelled over the din of battle. Sarah's mind raced. They couldn't win this fight, but retreat would mean losing their only chance at diplomacy. She needed to change the game. Fall back to the ridge, she ordered. I'll buy you some time. Ignoring the protests of her team, Sarah charged toward the alien leader. It was a desperate gambit, but if she could engage their commander directly, maybe she could force a parley. The alien saw her coming and met her charge with equal ferocity. They clashed in a blur of movement, Sarah's enhanced strength and reflexes barely matching the alien's natural abilities. Up close, she could see the intricate patterns on the alien's skin shifting and changing, almost hypnotic in their complexity. For a moment, their eyes met, and Sarah saw not just an enemy, but a being of equal intelligence and determination. The fight was brutal and swift. Sarah managed to disarm the alien leader, but not before taking a glancing blow that cracked her helmet's visor. As they grappled on the dusty ground, alarms blared in Sarah's ears. Her suit's atmospheric seal was compromised. In minutes, Novus Prime's toxic atmosphere would overwhelm her. To her surprise, the alien's expression changed from rage to concern. The leader barked in order, and the attack on Sarah's team ceased immediately. As Sarah's vision began to blur, she felt gentle but strong hands lifting her. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was the alien leader's face, a look of curiosity and worry replacing the earlier hostility. Sarah awoke to the soft hum of unfamiliar machinery. She was in a large, organic-looking chamber, its walls pulsing with bioluminescent light. Her cracked helmet was gone, but somehow she was breathing easily. As her eyes focused, she saw the alien leader watching her intently. Where am I?" Sarah managed to croak out. To her astonishment, the alien responded in halting but understandable English. "You are safe, human explorer. I am Zara, war chief of the Azurian people. Your bravery has earned our respect and perhaps a chance for the peace you spoke of." As Sarah struggled to sit up, she realized the gravity of the situation. She was deep in alien territory, cut off from her team, but also at the precipice of a potentially world-changing diplomatic opportunity. The fate of two civilizations might well rest on what happened next in this room. "Thank you for saving my life," Sarah said carefully, maintaining eye contact with Zara. "I believe we got off on the wrong foot earlier. Perhaps we could start again." She slowly extended her hand, hoping the gesture would be understood. Zara tilted her head, studying Sarah's outstretched hand with fascination. After a moment's hesitation, she reached out and grasped it, mimicking the handshake with surprising gentleness. "Your ways are strange to us, humans," Zara said, "but not unwelcome. We have watched your kind since you arrived on our world. Your technology, your adaptability, they are impressive, but also concerning." Sarah nodded, understanding the implied threat their presence might pose to the Azurians. "We're not here to conquer or colonize," she assured Zara. "Earth, our homeworld, is facing challenges. We seek new knowledge, resources, and perhaps allies to help us overcome them. We have much we could offer in return." Zara's expression softened slightly. "Perhaps our meeting was fated, then, for we too face a grave threat, one that may imperil not just our world, but many others." Before Sarah could inquire further, alarms began to blare throughout the chamber. Zara tensed, her skin patterns shifting to darker hues. "We've waited too long," she said brinly. "They're here." "Who's here?" Sarah asked, a sense of dread building in her gut. Zara's next words sent a chill down Sarah's spine. "The Harvesters. A scourge that travels from world to world, consuming all in their path. We've been preparing for their arrival for generations. And now, human, your people are caught in the middle of a war for survival." As if to punctuate Zara's words, a massive explosion rocked the entire structure. Through a view portal, Sarah saw massive, insectoid ships descending from the skies, raining destruction upon Azurian cities and the human base alike. In that moment, Sarah knew that everything had changed. The mission of exploration had just become a fight for survival, not just for her team, but for two civilizations. As she met Zara's determined gaze, Sarah realized that the fate of both their peoples might depend on the unlikely alliance forged in this room. "Tell me everything," Sarah said, her voice steady with resolve. "If we're going to survive this, we'll need to work together." Zara nodded, a glimmer of hope in her alien eyes. "Come then, human. Let us show you what we face and plan our defense. The war for Novus Prime, and perhaps the galaxy, begins now." As they rushed from the chamber, alarms blaring around them, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the twist of fate. She had come seeking knowledge and found a war. But in that war, perhaps, lay the seeds of the very alliance Earth so desperately needed. Whatever came next, humanity would face it standing shoulder to shoulder with their new Azurian allies. The first contact had been rocky, but the true test of both species was just beginning. And Sarah was determined that together, they would prove equal to the challenge. Forging an alliance in fire, the skies of Novus Prime burned. Massive harvester ships, their chitinous hulls gleaming with an otherworldly malevolence, rained destruction upon the planet below. Captain Sarah Chen and War Chief Zara raced through the twisting corridors of the Azurian Command Center, alarms blaring all around them. "We need to reach the war room," Zara shouted over the cacophony. "Our leaders must hear what you know of these invaders." Sarah nodded, her mind racing. The events of the past few hours felt like a fever dream, from first contact to uneasy alliance to a battle for survival, all in the span of a day. As they ran, she couldn't help but marvel at the Azurian architecture. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, almost as if the entire structure was alive. "Your technology," Sarah panted, "it's incredible. Is it all biological?" Zara's skin rippled with patterns that Sarah was beginning to recognize as a sign of pride. "We have evolved alongside our world, human. Our cities grow, they breathe, they adapt. It is our strength, and perhaps now, our vulnerability." They burst into a vast chamber dominated by a holographic display of the battle raging above. Azurian leaders, their skin shimmering with complex patterns denoting rank and specialization, turned to regard the newcomers with a mix of suspicion and curiosity. War Chief Zara, one of them, spoke, his voice resonating with authority, explained the presence of this alien in our most secure facility. Zara stepped forward, her posture radiating confidence. "Honored elders, this human, Captain Sarah Chen, may hold the key to our survival. Her people have encountered the harvesters before." All eyes turned to Sarah. She took a deep breath, keenly aware of the weight of the moment. "On behalf of Earth and humanity, I come seeking alliance," she began. "The beings you call harvesters, we know them as the Swarm. They attacked one of our outer colonies 3 years ago. We barely drove them back at great cost." The Azurian leaders exchanged glances, their skin patterns shifting rapidly in what Sarah assumed was their form of silent communication. Finally, the one who had spoken before addressed her directly. "I am High Commander Vexler. Your words ring true, human, but how can your people aid us? Our civilizations have only just met, and under less than ideal circumstances." Sarah's response was cut short by a massive explosion that rocked the entire facility. Chunks of the living ceiling came crashing down, and through the newly formed gap, a nightmarish sight emerged. A harvester drone, its insectoid body easily the size of a small shuttle, scuttled into the war room. Multiple limbs, each ending in wickedly sharp blades or energy weapons, lashed out at everything in sight. In that moment of chaos, instinct took over. Sarah and Zara moved in perfect synchronization, as if they'd fought side by side for years. Sarah's plasma rifle, thankfully returned to her earlier, spat superheated bolts at the creature's eyes, while Zara's energy blade danced in deadly arcs, severing limbs with each strike. The Azurian leaders, far from cowering, joined the fray. High Commander Vexler's skin blazed with patterns of fury as he unleashed a devastating psionic attack that staggered the harvester. Another elder's touch seemed to command the very walls of the chamber, living tendrils lashing out to entangle the monstrous invader. It was Sarah who landed the killing blow. Noticing a gap in the harvester's natural armor, she charged forward, sliding beneath its slashing limbs to jam her rifle directly into the weak spot. The point-blank blast obliterated the creature's central nervous cluster, and it collapsed in a twitching heap. As the dust settled, Sarah found herself standing back-to-back with Zara, both of them breathing heavily. The Azurian war room was in shambles, but the threat had been neutralized. More importantly, human and Azurian had fought as one. High Commander Vexler approached them, his earlier skepticism replaced with grudging respect. "Perhaps," he said, his voice tinged with wry amusement, "we judge your kind too hastily, Captain Chen. It seems humans can indeed fight." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "We're full of surprises, and right now, both our peoples need every advantage we can get." Zara placed a hand on Sarah's shoulder, the gesture bridging galaxies of difference. Indeed, the harvesters seek to consume all in their path. Separate, we may fall, but together, Sarah finished, we just might have a chance. What followed was a whirlwind of strategic planning. Sarah shared everything Earth had learned about harvester tactics and weaknesses. The Azurians, in turn, revealed the full extent of their biotechnological marvels. Ideas flew back and forth, human ingenuity and adaptability melding with Azurian organic tech and psionic abilities. As they worked, Sarah couldn't help but feel a growing connection to Zara. The Azurian war chief's determination, intelligence, and unexpected flashes of humor reminded Sarah why she had joined the exploration course in the first place, to forge connections across the stars. Their planning was interrupted by an urgent communication. Lieutenant Reeves' face appeared on a holographic display, his expression a mix of relief and concern. "Captain Chen, thank God you're alive. We've been holding out at the horizon, but we're taking a beating. These bug bastards just keep coming." Sarah felt a pang of guilt for her team, but knew she was where she needed to be. "Hold position, Mike. Help is coming. We've made allies." As if on cue, High Commander Vexler stepped forward. "Your ship and crew will be brought to safety within our shields. We face this threat as one." The next hours were a blur of action. Azurian bioships, resembling nothing so much as colossal, spacefaring manta rays, soared to the rescue of the embattled horizon. Human and Azurian fought side by side, each race's strengths complementing the others. Sarah found herself in the thick of the fight, commanding a mixed squad of human marines and Azurian warriors. They pushed back harvester landing parties with a combination of Earth's advanced weaponry and Azurian psionic attacks. The tide, ever so slowly, began to turn. As the twin suns of Novus Prime set on that fateful day, Sarah stood atop the Azurian command center, surveying the battered but unbroken landscape. Beside her, Zara's skin shimmered with patterns that Sarah was beginning to interpret as hopeful. "We've won the first battle," Zara said softly, "but the war is far from over." Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the horizon where harvester ships still loomed. "On Earth, there's an old saying, 'The enemy of my enemy is my friend.' I think we might have found something more than that here." Zara turned to her, curiosity evident in her alien features. "Oh, and what would that be, Sarah, of Earth?" "The beginning of something greater than either of our races could have imagined," Sarah replied. "A partnership that could change the fate of galaxies." As if to underscore her words, a flight of human fighters streaked overhead in perfect formation with Azurian bioships. Zara's hand found Sarah's, the gesture somehow bridging the vast differences between their species. "To the future," Zara said, her voice filled with determination. "May it be one we forge together." As night fell on Novus Prime, two leaders from different worlds stood united, ready to face whatever challenges the dawn might bring. The harvesters had come seeking easy prey, but they had instead catalyzed an alliance that would shake the very foundations of the cosmos. The battle for Novus Prime was just the beginning. A new chapter in galactic history was being written, and at its heart stood the unlikely friendship between a human explorer and an Azurian war chief. Together, they would face the trials ahead, their bond forged in the fires of adversity and strengthened by the hope of a shared future among the stars. Depths of Novus Prime. The war for Novus Prime raged on, but the united forces of humanity and the Azurians had managed to push the Harvester invasion to a stalemate. As the battle lines stabilized, Captain Sarah Chen and War Chief Sarah found themselves facing a new challenge, one that would take them deep into the heart of the alien world and test the limits of their newfound alliance. "We've detected unusual energy signatures beneath the planet's surface," Lieutenant Reeves reported, his holographic image flickering above the war room's central console. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before." High Commander Vexler's skin rippled with patterns of concern. "The ancient caverns," he muttered, exchanging meaningful glances with the other Azurian elders. "We had hoped to avoid this." Sarah looked between the Azurians, sensing the weight of unspoken history. "What aren't you telling us?" she asked, her voice firm but diplomatic. Zara stepped forward, her posture radiating a mix of reverence and apprehension. "The ancient caverns are sacred to our people. They are also incredibly dangerous. Legend says they hold the key to both our salvation and our doom." "And you think these energy signatures might be connected?" Sarah pressed. Vexilor nodded gravely. "The Harvester's attack has awakened something deep within Novus Prime. If we don't act quickly, we may face a threat greater than the invasion itself." The implications hung heavy in the air. Sarah squared her shoulders, decision made. "Then we need to investigate. Zara, will you join me?" The Azurian war chief's skin flickered with patterns of determination. "Always, my friend, but we must tread carefully. The caverns do not give up their secrets easily." Within hours, a joint expedition was assembled. Sarah and Zara led a team of human scientists and Azurian mystics towards a massive fissure that had opened in the planet's surface, a result of the ongoing battle above. As they descended into the depths, the very air seemed to thrum with ancient power. The tunnel walls glowed with bioluminescent fungi, casting eerie shadows as the team ventured deeper. Strange rock formations twisted into impossible shapes, defying the laws of physics. Sarah's scientific mind raced to categorize and understand, while Zara moved with the cautious reverence of one entering a holy site. "The energy readings are off the charts," Dr. Elara Vose, the expedition's lead scientist, whispered in awe. "It's as if the entire cavern system is one massive, living organism." Zara nodded, her eyes scanning the undulating walls. "Our oldest stories speak of Novus Prime as a sentient being. Perhaps there is more truth to those tales than we realized." As they pressed on, the cavern opened into a vast chamber that took their breath away. Colossal crystals pulsed with inner light, each larger than a starship. At the center stood a structure that defied description, part machine, part organic, thrumming with power that made the air itself crackle. "By all the stars," Sarah breathed, momentarily overwhelmed by the sight. Zara's skin rippled with patterns of recognition and fear. "The heart of Novus," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never truly believed it existed." Before they could approach the structure, the ground beneath their feet began to shift. What they had taken for smooth stones suddenly came alive, reforming into humanoid shapes. Within moments, the expedition found itself surrounded by crystal golems, their faceted bodies reflecting the pulsing light of the chamber. "Intruders," a chorus of voices resonated from the golems, the sound reverberating through the cavern. "You do not belong here." Sarah raised her hands in a gesture of peace, her mind racing to find a diplomatic solution. "We come seeking knowledge and aid," she said, her voice steady despite the danger. "Our world, your world, is under attack." The golems tilted their crystalline heads in unison, as if conferring silently. Finally, one stepped forward, its voice carrying the weight of eons. "We are the guardians of the heart. For millennia, we have slumbered, waiting for the chosen to awaken us. Prove your worth, or be unmade." Zara moved to stand beside Sarah, her energy blade humming to life. "How can we prove ourselves to beings we do not understand?" she asked, frustration evident in her voice. The lead golem's form shimmered, and suddenly Sarah found her mind filled with visions. The history of Novus Prime, the rise and fall of civilizations, the delicate balance of energies that kept the planet alive. She gasped, overwhelmed by the torrent of information. "You must complete the trials of unity," the golem intoned. "Only those who can bridge the gap between worlds may access the heart's power." What followed was a series of challenges that pushed Sarah and Zara to their limits. They faced physical obstacles that required perfect coordination, puzzles that merged human logic with Azurian intuition, and psychic trials that forced them to confront their deepest fears and hopes. Through it all, Sarah and Zara's bond deepened. They moved as one, their strengths complementing each other in ways that transcended their biological differences. Human determination melded with Azurian grace, creating a synergy that even the ancient guardians had not foreseen. As they completed the final trial, the chamber resonated with a harmonic frequency that seemed to penetrate to the core of their beings. The heart of Novus pulsed brightly, and a voice that was both everywhere and nowhere spoke directly into their minds. "You have proven yourselves worthy," it said, its tone both ancient and infinitely young. "The power of Novus Prime is yours to command, but beware, for with great power comes great responsibility." The heart opened, revealing a swirling vortex of energy. Sarah and Zara exchanged a look, understanding passing between them without words. Together, they stepped forward, their hands clasped tightly. As they made contact with the energy, their bodies began to change. Sarah felt her consciousness expanding, merging with Zara's, with the planet itself. She saw the harvesters as if from orbit, understood their weaknesses with perfect clarity. Zara, in turn, grasped the intricacies of human technology and strategy as if she had studied it for years. When the transformation was complete, they stood changed, not quite human, not quite Azurian, but something gloriously new. Their skin shimmered with the same bioluminescence as the caven walls, and their eyes held the wisdom of ages. "We understand now," they spoke in unison, their voices carrying the resonance of the planet itself. "The harvesters are not just an invasion force, they are a galactic imbalance, a cosmic wrong that must be righted." The guardians bowed, their crystalline forms reflecting the new light that emanated from Sarah and Zara. "Go forth, chosen ones," they said. "The fate of not just Novus Prime, but of countless worlds, rests in your hands." As Sarah and Zara ascended from the depths, they knew that the war had entered a new phase. They carried within them the power to turn the tide, but also the heavy responsibility of wielding that power wisely. The harvesters, for all their terrifying might, had no idea what was about to hit them. A force of nature was rising from the heart of Novus Prime, born from the union of two worlds and tempered by the wisdom of ages. The final battle for the planet, and perhaps the galaxy, was about to begin, and at its center stood two beings who had started as strangers from different stars, now united in a bond that transcended the very boundaries of space and time. As they emerged from the caverns, the twin suns of Novus Prime seemed to shine brighter, as if heralding the dawn of a new era. Sarah and Zara, their forms shimmering with newfound power, raised their joined hands to the sky. "For Earth, for Novus Prime, for all life in the cosmos," they declared, their voices ringing with the authority of chosen champions. "We fight." The war for Novus Prime was about to enter its final, explosive chapter, one that would be remembered in the annals of galactic history for eons to come. Cosmic convergence. The skies above Novus Prime blazed with the fury of interstellar war. Harvester ships, vast and insectile, clashed with the combined might of human technology and Azurian biovessels. But the tide was about to turn in a way no one could have predicted. From the planet's surface, a pillar of iridescent energy burst forth, parting the clouds and reaching into the cosmos. At its apex stood Sarah Chen and Zara, their transformed bodies pulsing with the power of Novus Prime itself. They rose, defying gravity, their merged consciousness expanding to encompass the entire battlefield. By the void, Lieutenant Reeves gasped, watching from the bridge of the horizon. What have they become? High Commander Vexlar, his skin shimmering with patterns of awe, simply shook his head. They have become what we always hoped for, the bridge between worlds. As Sarah and Zara ascended, their voices resonated across all frequencies, heard by human, Azurian, and harvester alike. "We are the synthesis, born of two worlds and empowered by the heart of a living planet. Harvesters, your rampage ends here." With a gesture, they reached out to the human and Azurian fleets. Instantly, crews felt their minds expand, tactics and technologies merging in perfect synergy. Human ships crackled with Azurian bioenergy, while Azurian vessels incorporated the best of Earth's weaponry. The harvesters, sensing the shift in the battle's energy, launched a desperate assault. Swarms of fighter drones blackened the sky, their screeching battle cries filling the air. Sarazara, for they were now one being in two bodies, raised their hands. The very fabric of space-time rippled around them. Harvester ships found themselves ensnared in localized gravity wells, their hulls crumpling under forces they couldn't comprehend. But the synthesis knew that destruction alone wasn't the answer. As they fought, they probed deep into the collective consciousness of the harvesters, seeking understanding. There, Zara's voice echoed in their shared mind. "Do you see it, Zara?" "Yes," came the reply. "The hunger, the emptiness. They consume because they know nothing else." In that moment of clarity, the synthesis made a decision that would reshape galactic history. Instead of obliterating the harvester fleet, they reached out with tendrils of pure consciousness, touching the minds of the hive. Images flooded across the psychic link, the beauty of Earth's oceans, the majesty of Novus Prime's floating mountains, the joy of discovery, the power of cooperation. The harvesters reeled, experiencing emotions and concepts alien to their hive mind existence. "You don't have to be this way," the synthesis broadcast, their words carried on waves of empathy and understanding. "There is another path." For a moment that stretched into eternity, the battle hung in the balance. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering momentum, harvester ships began to power down their weapons. The screeching of their battle cries transformed into a harmonic hum that resonated with the energy of Novus Prime. On the bridge of the horizon, shears erupted as the humans witnessed the miracle unfolding before them. In the Azurian command center, elders wept glowing tears of joy. Victory had come not through destruction, but through understanding. As the synthesis descended back to the planet's surface, the transformed Sarah and Zara found themselves at the center of a gathering unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Humans, Azurians, and now reformed harvesters converged, drawn by the promise of a new era of cooperation. High Commander Vexlor approached, bowing deeply. "You have done the impossible," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You have not just saved our world, but shown us a path to save the galaxy itself." Lieutenant Rees, still struggling to comprehend the transformation of his captain, simply saluted. "Ma'am, or, ma'ams, what happens now?" Sarazara smiled, their merged forms shimmering with the potential of countless futures. "Now, Mike, we build, we learn, we grow." The harvesters came seeking to consume, but in the end, they've given us a gift. The push we needed to reach beyond our limits and truly touch the stars. As if in response to their words, the ground beneath their feet began to shift and change. The devastation wrought by the battle melted away as Novus Prime itself came alive, guided by the will of the synthesis. New structures rose, blending the best of human, Azurian, and even harvester design. It was a physical manifestation of the harmony they had achieved. In the days that followed, a flurry of activity transformed Novus Prime into a shining beacon of interstellar cooperation. The planet became a hub of cultural exchange, scientific advancement, and diplomatic outreach to other species across the galaxy. Sarah and Zara, though able to separate their physical forms, chose to remain linked, serving as living embodiments of the bridge between worlds. They established the Galactic Concord, an organization dedicated to fostering understanding and peace among all sentient species. As news of the miraculous events on Novus Prime spread across the cosmos, ships from 100 worlds began to arrive. Each brought their own unique perspectives, technologies, and challenges, and at the heart of it all stood the synthesis, ready to guide the galaxy towards a brighter future. But even as they celebrated their victory and the dawn of a new age, Sarazara knew that their greatest challenges lay ahead. The power they wielded was immense, and with it came the responsibility to use it wisely. The fate of not just two species, but of all life in the galaxy, now rested in their hands. As the twin sons of Novus Prime set on this new era, Sarah and Zara stood atop the newly formed Harmony Spire, looking out at the bustling activity below. Ships of all shapes and sizes zipped through the skies, while on the ground, Beings from across the cosmos mingled freely. "We've come so far," Sarah mused, her consciousness intertwined with Zara's. "And yet, our journey is just beginning," Zara replied, squeezing their joined hands. Together, they turned their gaze to the stars above, shining with the promise of countless adventures to come. The universe, vast and wondrous, awaited their next move, and they would face it as they had faced every challenge since that fateful first meeting, together, two hearts beating as one, reaching for the infinite possibilities that lay beyond the horizon. Echoes of eternity. The Galactic Concord, headquartered on Novus Prime, had flourished for a decade under the guidance of the Synthesis, the merged consciousness of human Captain Sarah Chen and Azurian War Chief Zara. Their union, empowered by the living planet itself, had ushered in an unprecedented era of interstellar cooperation and advancement. But as with all periods of great change, challenges loomed on the cosmic horizon. Sarah Zara stood atop the Harmony Spire, their shimmering form a constant reminder of the miraculous merger of two species. The cityscape below buzzed with activity, hover transports weaving between bio-organic buildings that pulsed with Azurian energy, while holographic interfaces flickered with a mix of human and reformed harvester technology. "Something's coming," they murmured, their dual voice carrying the weight of cosmic awareness. A ripple in the fabric of space-time itself. As if in response to their words, alarms began to blare across the city. Lieutenant Mike Reeves, now Admiral of the Concord Fleet, burst into the observation deck, his face etched with concern. "Synthesis," he said, still struggling of how to address his former captain, "we're detecting massive quantum fluctuations at the edge of the system. It's like reality itself is unraveling." Sarah Zara nodded, their eyes gleaming with the knowledge of ages. "The Void Weavers have arrived." Across Novus Prime, beings of all species felt a shudder of apprehension. The Void Weavers were more legend than fact, cosmic entities said to exist beyond the boundaries of conventional spacetime, shapers and destroyers of entire universes. In the Concord's war room, a gathering unprecedented in galactic history took place. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with Azurians. Reformed harvesters hummed in harmony with crystalline beings from distant stars, and a dozen other species joined in urgent conference. High Commander Vexlor, his skin patterns shifting with anxiety, addressed the assembly. "The Synthesis foresaw this day. The Void Weavers come not to destroy, but to test. Our unified galaxy represents a new variable in the cosmic equation, one they must evaluate." Admiral Reeves slammed his fist on the holographic display. "Test us. They're ripping apart the very fabric of our reality. We need to fight back." Sarah Zara raised a hand, instantly calming the room. "Violence is not the answer, old friend. The Void Weavers operate on a level beyond our comprehension. We must meet them on their terms, in the space between spaces." With those cryptic words, the Synthesis began to glow, their form becoming translucent. The assembled leaders gasped as Sarah Zara seemed to phase in and out of existence. "We go to parley," they announced. "The fate of not just our galaxy, but all possible realities, hangs in the balance. Trust in the unity we've built. It is our greatest strength." In a flash of otherworldly light, the Synthesis vanished, leaving behind a room full of stunned allies and a galaxy holding its collective breath. Sarah Zara found themselves in a realm defying description, a kaleidoscopic void where thoughts became reality and time flowed in all directions at once. Before them loomed the Void Weavers, beings of pure energy and infinite complexity. "You have disrupted the cosmic ballet," the Void Weavers spoke, their words resonating across dimensions. "Your merger of species, your defiance of established galactic cycles, it cannot be allowed to continue." The Synthesis stood firm, their dual nature a perfect representation of the unity they championed. "We offer a new path," they countered, "one of harmony and growth, rather than endless cycles of rise and fall." What followed was a debate beyond human or Azurian understanding. Concepts exchanged at the speed of thought, entire potential futures examined and discarded in instants. The Void Weavers weaved tapestries of possible realities, showing the synthesis the dangers of their chosen path. But Sarazara had an advantage the cosmic entities hadn't counted on: the lived experience of two individuals from vastly different backgrounds, united in purpose. They drew on Sarah's human adaptability and Zara's Azurian connection to the living universe. Together, they crafted a vision of a future where diversity bred strength, where cooperation elevated entire civilizations to new heights. Your way preserves the universe, the synthesis argued, but at the cost of stagnation. We offer evolution on a cosmic scale. The Void Weavers fell silent, their energy patterns shifting in what might have been contemplation. Then, to the synthesis shock, the entities began to change. They flowed together, merging in a display that mimicked the very union of Sarah and Zara. You have shown us possibility. The merged Void Weavers spoke, their voice carrying newfound warmth. We will allow your great experiment to continue, and watch with great interest. With a gesture that bent light itself, the Void Weavers repaired the damage done to the fabric of space-time. As reality reasserted itself, they left the synthesis with a parting gift: knowledge of cosmic pathways that would allow the galactic concord to expand its influence far beyond their home galaxy. Sarazara returned to Novus Prime in a flash of glory, materializing before the assembled leaders. A cheer went up as they relayed the outcome of their cosmic negotiation. The path ahead will not be easy, the synthesis cautioned, but it is ours to shape. The Void Weavers have given us the chance to prove that unity is the truest path to universal harmony. As news spread across the galaxy, celebrations erupted on countless worlds. Ships launched towards the cosmic pathways, eager to explore new realms and make first contact with species beyond imagination. The galactic concord, tested by fire and cosmic forces, emerged stronger than ever. In the years that followed, Sarazara guided their people towards a future brighter than either could have dreamed when they first met on the battlefields of Novus Prime. Human ingenuity, Azurian wisdom, harvester efficiency, and the unique perspectives of 100 other species blended together, reaching for the very stars themselves. And somewhere in the vast cosmic ocean, the Void Weavers watched with newfound curiosity, wondering if perhaps they too had something yet to learn from the grand experiment unfolding before them. As the twin sons of Novus Prime sat on this new chapter of cosmic history, Sarah and Zara stood once more atop the Harmony's spire. Their merged forms shimmered with power and possibility, a living symbol of the unity they had fought so hard to achieve. "We've changed the course of the universe," Zara's thought whispered through their shared consciousness. "No, my love," Zara's essence replied, warm with affection. "We've only just begun to show the universe what change truly means." Together, their gaze turned towards the star-filled sky, not as conquerors, but as guardians of a fragile, beautiful, ever-evolving cosmic tapestry. The next great adventure awaited, and the synthesis stood ready to lead the way towards a future limited only by the power of imagination and the strength found in diversity united.